in Georgia. Jerry in Georgia. Welcome.
Hi. How you doing?
Good. Hi. Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
Yeah, I was feeling that way too. So I've got a question and a comment. I'm
Okay.
going to start with my question. What I was thinking about switching over to was it PBS as far as news, and they have interesting stories that go
Mm,
beyond just the regular. But what criteria would I use to say, okay, they're credible, okay, they're journalists? What am I using? What's
mm.
my checklist?
Okay,
Uh,
let's pause your question and let's get to your comment
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we need to answer this after you
that's a
go.
good question.
It is a great question.
So my comment is, uh, my James Brown perm dude on MSNBC. It's been bothering me for a while that they only turn a question over to him when it's black, or he was doing something with Jews, etc. And it's like, and doesn't he know anything else besides a black guy? And I can't think of the other. Oh shoot, I can't think of the other gentleman's name. He has a really deep voice. And
Eddie
they,
Glaude? No, Eddie
talk to
Glaude
him.
does not have a deep voice. It's not
I
him.
know you're talking
No,
about. I can't think of him. I know you're
Oh,
talking about
yeah,
Eugene,
Eugene. Yeah.
yeah,
Eugene,
that, yeah, you did that guy, yeah, that guy.
Eugene.
Um, and I sit up when I hear him, but I just really get frustrated at, hey, black guy, what do you think about this black thing? Yuck. Oh,
I Eugene Robinson, venerable journalist, from Orangeburg, South Carolina. I think he's a respectable person. But I think you've been doing something so long. There's a line in the sand. Washington Post, Eugene Robinson, before Bezos, has written some amazing books as well. Legit. The other person is there for coverage. I feel like they're black folk that provide coverage for nonsense, and then they have conferences and they give out awards to these people who are problematic, and then there's a backdoor deal. There's a deal that's made that benefits them
Yeah.
while publicly they're working for us. They're not. And it's okay. I mean, those TV contracts are beautiful. People do things for them all the time and they make concessions with themselves. As somebody that was in that space for a number of years, first at CNN and then at MSNBC, a paid contributor for 3 years, and then got sat down because I didn't realize the rules actually did apply to me. Like I couldn't say what I wanted. I didn't realize that, Joel. I thought, my honesty was what they were, that they didn't want that. When it got too hot,
Too honest. Yeah.
they sat me down and then canceled my contract, which was interesting. Without I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you. But in that moment, I realized what the game was. I really understood it, and I said, I'm never playing that game. I make my own rules. You're gonna play my game now, or we just not gonna play. We're just gonna be separate, but equal. Like, and I'm okay with that too. But so yeah, I feel the same way that you feel. I feel it's disgusting at this point. Now that we know what it is, that feeling in the pit of our stomach. Now you just are playing against our better, against. I'm trying to parse
That's
my
the
words.
myth of
I'm struggling.
that's the myth of black excellence, right? That's the thing that people think, that by platforming these people and supporting them, that they're going to be the people that save us, right? That they're going to be the people that pull us up. They're not going to be
Never.
hollering ollie ollie oxen free when they get to the top.
Never. They're like, thank you for the penthouse and the
Yeah.
Bentley and the driver and the this and the that. And oh, look at my till. And I'm not, listen, get your, like, stuff is good. Stuff to
Yeah.
have is good, but not at our expense if that's your only platform. Do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
if the only way you make money is through black trauma, and
Yeah.
black trauma hasn't ended in 40 years that you've been at the helm of ending black trauma, we have to renegotiate terms. If you have an organization that's edict is to hold truth to power and hold people accountable, and things are supposed to improve and they haven't, and I'm talking about the Black Congressional Black Caucus, I'm talking about everybody should be
Yeah.
everyone is subject to us examining what have you done for us lately,
Yeah.
because you
Everybody.
go in rooms and make deals, and what have we gotten for those deals that you've made? You know a tree by the fruit that it bears. And that's all I'm going to say. And we should have zero tolerance at this point because we know what it is. No more. You've had access inside in a lot of places, and there's nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. So yeah, I feel the same way. So now you giving coverage. You the person that, and then for us as consumers, we're just happy to see somebody. Oh, they got a black person there. It's funny how, politics, identity politics. When I was on MSNBC, people rarely remember what I said. It was, oh, your hair. Oh, you look nice. Oh, that jacket. It was all this superficial physical. I was like, I just laid somebody out. Like, I just said some things,
Yeah.
that was powerful. It was like, it didn't matter. And they would always throw stuff at me that wasn't my wheelhouse. That's when I knew it was an MSNBC egregious. CNN, I would at least, even Fox would give you the night before a list of articles and topics so you could at least study, even if it's not your thing. I would come in and was like, what are we talking about? And it was like, so I would have to go back door and try to get like, can I just, I don't want to be surprised. I like to study. I like to know what the hell I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And at one time I got caught out there because it was just in the moment, live TV. And I'm like repeating something that somebody gave me and it was all wrong information. And I was like, oh, never again, never again. So yeah, no, it's WWE. It's a sports model and it's not there for our edification. So it's time for us to be honest about that.
But when you're talking about like what you should look for, is you should look for sensationalism. Whenever it seems too outlandish or crazy, or it seems too on the nose for you, that's when you should question your news sources. If it seems like this seemed, I mean, and right now it's hard, right? Because we're in a time when things are crazy. Like we do have somebody who is from Fox and Friends, who was on a TV show, who's going to be the Secretary of Defense, who couldn't even
Jesus.
become he couldn't even get the military to give him like a commendation for like working on the Biden administration, right? Like he couldn't work security for it because he had too many Nazi tattoos. But so like that's a problem, right? But at the same time, it doesn't, like I think the media landscape is just interrogate everything. If it sound like double check thing. I do this all the time. I see news, I check to see if there are multiple sources for it, right? I see if there's multiple places that are reporting on the same thing. If I hear from one source, I'm like, that sounds like it might not be true. It might just be one
Mm,
person thinking something up. I think that's what you have to do. You almost have to be an investigative journalist to watch the news because it's
yes.
so much propaganda.
For me, that is a waxing and waning. So I'm Rolling Stone does really good long form articles. The Atlantic, because that's where I ran into Ta-Nehisi with the case for they do some really good long form investigative pieces. I don't know, like sometimes it's the New York Times, but most of the time it's not. It used
Yeah.
to be the Washington Post, but now it's not. I used to read the Wall Street Journal religiously. Now I don't. Now it's the Financial Times. I'm looking more internationally, and I want to thank again Dr. Beatty for this morning because that French paper, Le Monde in English, you want to do it in English, not in French, because I don't read French, but it's probably doper in French, But that paper is going to give you a view that we are not going to get in America, and we're going to have to start to look for our sources beyond this because our media has been compromised to a point, and it always has. I mean, if we're talking about
Yeah.
World War II, the New York Times was the paper of the government, spreading lies and propaganda. It's always, they're a useful tool for powerful people. So if
Yeah.
that's what media is, then you're going to have to find many sources. So even if I read a story in the Times, I have to see two more sources to get all of the information. It wasn't that way 30 years ago. I promise you, you can pick up any one of those papers that I'm talking about and you would have all of the stories. Even when I was teaching my students, like the first paragraph is where all of the information should be. That doesn't even exist anymore. It used to be
Yeah.
called an inverted pyramid where you put the most important to the least important. That doesn't even exist anymore. They are now just throwing stuff together and vital information is left out of a lot of stories. So even when I'm preparing for the show, my producers will, I'm like, what's the source? Give me another source and then give me another source.
Yeah.
Did you check this twice? It's like Santa Claus. We're gonna have to check the list twice just to make sure. It is too much work for a person, especially when most of us get our news from Apple News or from Google News or whoever's. But that's compromised,
Yeah.
So we have to be sleuths. I guess that's
I just
the
think you just have to, I think the best way to do it is just to be skeptical continuously. Always skeptical. Don't
yeah.
ever, whatever you see online, don't read it. Don't believe it. It's not real. Pictures aren't real. People
The
aren't real.
pictures, pictures aren't right. That's the scariest thing, right? We can't even
Yeah.
trust our own eyes anymore because they can manipulate images, they can manipulate video, deep fakes are for real. So yeah, no, that's why I'm just watching TV and listening to books. That's it. Let everything else go to hell.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.